Hello everyone, how you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. And today we are here with a Tempoross guide for old school RuneScape and my endless adventure to make as many guides as possible. Hopefully you guys enjoy. If you do, make sure to leave a like, would appreciate it greatly. But with that said, let's go ahead and get on into it. So we'll start with the requirement. The only thing you're going to need to be able to do Tempoross is 35 fishing. If you have that, you'll be more than ready. Of course, the higher the fishing level, the better the XP, all that jazz. We'll talk about that now. So for the hourly rates, you can get anywhere between 25k and 75k fishing XP. I know it's a wide range, but because you can come here at level 35, that means there's going to be a wide range. So to scale that out depending on what level you are. Then it can also net anywhere between 100 and 300k GP per hour. Also does matter what your fishing level is, of course, again. So on average, about 50k fishing, 200k GP per hour, not bad at all. So getting on into the drop table, this is all based off of reward points. So every game you can get somewhere between 1 and 6 reward points, depending on how you go about doing it. First is the tackle box at a 1 in 400 rate. This is a spot that you can throw in a lot of your fishing supplies into, so very useful. There's also the fishing barrel at a 1 in 400 rate. That is essentially a second inventory for fish that you're fishing. Then you have spirit flakes at a 1 in 4 rate. They'll drop in a quantity of 30 to 60. These can be used to turn your angler gear into spirit anglers, or if you want to fish with them, you can get 50% more fish when you use them. There's also the big harpoon fish. This is an untradeable drop that you can get. There's the Dragon Harpoon at a 1 in 8k and the Tome of Water at 1 in 1.6k. Then from there you have the Tempoross Pet at 1 in 8k, and the average GP per point total is worth 4 to 7k depending on your fishing level. As far as if it's worth it, personally, I think so. It's decent XP, decent GP, so no matter how you want to go about that, it's going to give you something that you desire. Then on top of that, a decent bit of untradables, again with the tackle box, the fishing barrel, very useful. The spirit flakes and the big harpoon fish, less so, but still not bad. And also it's the only method that you can go about getting the Tempoross pet, so if you're into that, by all means, go ahead. So now that we know that, let's go ahead and get on into the gear. So here is what I have. The first item is an angler's outfit. Then second, we have a graceful cape, a dragon harpoon, and graceful gloves. For the inventory, we have a hammer, a rope, a bucket of water, and a spirit angler's outfit that you could bring potentially. To get the spirit angler's outfit, you do have to unlock it here, so if you're watching this guide, you probably don't have it. But if you do have the spirit angler's outfit, you do not need a rope because it has one equipped to it. And then you can pick different harpoons. If you want the best XP, you can go with the crystal harpoon. If you want the best points, you can go with the infernal harpoon. And if you're just more of a casual player that isn't trying to sweat or use any money to better yourself here, then the dragon harpoon is going to be the way to go for you. Also, you could just bring a regular harpoon, or you could even barbarian fish if you know how to do that. So either one of those options are also out there for you. And then to get here, there are really 2 teleports of note. The first is an Amulet of Glory teleport to the Alcarid area. The second is a dueling ring teleport to the duel arena. From both of those teleports, just go southwest a good bit and you will be able to find a boat that will take you on over to Tempoross. So now that we're heading on over, let's talk about the basics behind what we'll be doing here. As far as the process behind it, what you want to do is you're going to have to acquire fish from the fishing spots, and then from there you'll either cook them or deposit them raw into some cannons. There's 3 different bars to note that you'll have to focus on whenever Tempoross is alive. The top one is Tempoross's energy. Essentially what this is it's almost a shield around him. As you take that down with the fish, then you can start to destroy his essence, which is the second bar of note. Once the essence hits 0, then your game here at Tempoross is done and you have killed Tempoross. However, you can only do this once you've taken down the shield. And the third bar is the storm intensity. It's basically how mad the island is, how crazy it's getting, and if that ever hits 100, you will be kicked off the island and you will have failed your Tempoross run. The storm intensity slowly climbs as time goes on, and if you don't destroy the shield fast enough, the storm will wipe you out. For some other key attributes of the boss fight here, the first thing is going to be the storms that will appear. So there will be times where your screen becomes really, really blue and it says that there is a colossal wave closing in. When that happens, you're going to have to tie yourself to a mast nearby or a totem pole, whichever one is accessible to you, depending if you're on the boat or if you're down by the fishing spots. Next, there will be fires that are caused from the lightning of the thunderstorms that kind of flow on in every now and then. You'll have to use your bucket of water to douse these fires and unlock different spaces that you can then run. If these are left unattended, they can become very crazy and basically the entire boat an island will be uninhabitable. You also have the option of shooting cooked fish at Tempoross or raw fish. Raw fish deliver 10 damage to his shield, while cooked do 15 damage. However, cooked fish will give you more points and more rewards when you're done with the game, so there's a little bit of a balance there. If you decide not to cook, you will get about 10k more fishing XP per hour. However, if you're cooking, you'll get 50 to 75% more rewards per hour. So depending on what your goal is here will depend on how you want to go about that. Here are how the reward points are distributed. Essentially, you get a little bit of points for doing everything that helps out towards this minigame. Most importantly, depositing cooked fish into the hoppers, and then also harpooning from the spirit pool are going to be the best methods. Reward permits are distributed as such, so you'll get one reward permit for your first 2,000 points, and then every 700 points after that you'll get another one. Typically you should end your games in the 3,500 to 4,500 range, unless you have an infernal harpoon where you can go even beyond that, but that's about what you should be expecting there. So now that we know the basics, let's go ahead and send a couple runs ourselves so that we can see what's going on here. So I hopped on the boat, climb right on up here, and there will be a boat that departs every 30 seconds. There are Tempoross worlds that you can also join, so just sort that by name, and there will be 4 of them there for you. Pick whichever one works best for you. And once we are here, let's go ahead and spam click running west. No matter which side we're on, we will run off the boat, which is ideal. So now that we're down here, we're gonna wanna find a fishing spot that is somewhat close to the shrine over here. So I went for this one right here. This is gonna be where you cook at, this is gonna be where you fish at. So I am going to look for 8 fish. If you have an infernal harpoon, maybe then go for 12 fish, but I'm gonna go for 8 raw harpoon fish. And once I get those, then I'm gonna run on over to the shrine and cook them. So heading on over there now, basically I will cook these, and in the time that it takes to cook these, then there will be a double fishing spot that will spawn. There will be a leaping harpoon fish that will indicate where that is at. So I am looking around for it. There it is right on over here. So as soon as you see that, go ahead and run on over. This should settle you for the rest of your inventory. You can move around to other spots in between to help fill that out. And while you're doing this, you're going to have to pay attention for if you see text in your chat that says a colossal wave is appearing, or if your screen gets a little fuzzy and blue, this is what you're gonna have to pay attention to. So as soon as you see that, run on over and tether to the totem pole. Then once the wave passes, go ahead and finish up the rest of your inventory with fish if you still need to. If not, go ahead and cook. If there's ever a cloud that appears over you, run away from that, because if you don't, you're gonna get caught on fire, you're gonna lose your fish, you're gonna lose your tools, and it's not gonna be a fun time, as that person just experienced. If you're doing the cooking method, we're gonna cook the rest of our fish. If you wanna do the raw fish method, I will show that here in a moment. I am tethering to another totem pole here, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and run up here, even though one of my fish is uncooked. It's not gonna make too much of a difference. Once you're up here, then go ahead and fill up the ammunition crate. Typically, you just wanna fill up one side, but if it's getting a little dicey, say the storm intensity is getting really high, then you could fill up 2 crates. We don't really need to do that right now, but we are anyway, since one guy's over there doing his own thing. If a storm does come by, then go ahead and tether yourself to the mast up here. However, we are not in that situation right now. Also, I didn't mention this earlier, but there are a ton of supplies that you can take from up here. Ropes, hammers, buckets, the whole 9 yards. So anything you might need is going to be up there. Then once you've thrown all that away, come back down here and fish again. Then come back down here and fish whatever you can until the energy hits 0. Once the energy hits 0, then run on down to either the south spot of the north end or the north spot of the south end. Both of them will take you near Tempoross, and you're going to want to harpoon this spirit pool. Upon doing that, you'll be getting a ton of fishing XP, and you'll also be boosting your reward points quite heavily. So you're going to want to prioritize this over something like shooting more cannons or fishing some more fish. This is definitely a top priority. You'll be able to do this until his energy reaches 100% again. Once it does, then this will end, and you'll have to go back to fishing. Typically, the minigame will be done in 2 rounds. It can take more, however, but that's only if it's going somewhat south for you. So here there's 10% of his essence left, and he has 100% energy, so we are back to fishing. If you have a lot of fish, whenever you're starting the second inventory, just go ahead and cook them right now while we wait for a harpoon fish spot that is leaping to appear. If you're not seeing that, then go ahead and just do the thing that I did before, where you just cook whatever fish you have in your inventory while you wait for it to pop by. And there it is, right on over there like so. There was a storm that came by, and right after that, here we go with the nice fishing spot. As you can tell, get 2 at once sometimes, very, very helpful. One thing you're going to have to note on your second second inventory is don't try to get a full inventory of fish. It's sort of a fool's errand. I'm gonna go ahead and cook over here right now with about the 17 fish that I have at the moment. You wanna pay attention to the energy. As you can tell, it's depleting 1 or 2 every single time that it updates, so we don't have a ton of time. I would recommend heading back on up to the top of the ship at around 35 to 40. So personally, I'm gonna head up there right now, and I might have too many fish. It kind of just depends on how fast everyone else is loading, what's going on up here. So you'll want to send off as much as you can while you can. For the second trip, it doesn't really matter as much if you go down there and harpoon the spirit pool. If you have a lot of fish left over, you can still shoot them, and that might be more beneficial than going down there and harpooning the spirit pool. It sort of depends on how many fish you have and how much essence he has left available. Here he has very little, so it's not going to matter too much. Running back on down, this is what is going to kill Tempoross, so let's go ahead and just start harpooning this spot right away. And as you can see here, we're not going to get too much out of it. There'll probably be 3 maybe XP drops, only 2. Little unlucky, but there we go, 4 reward permits and we are good to go. So I'm gonna go head on over here and leave via the first mate dairy, and then he will send me on back. And then from there, you can just go ahead and run again, or you can go claim your reward points over here, whatever it may be. I'm gonna go ahead and demonstrate what a non-cooking run would look like. It is much the same, but worthy of talking about no less. So starting off the trip, it's pretty basic. Here, you're going to do much the same. Instead of cooking though, you're just going to be fishing the entire time. This is going to up the amount of fishing XP that you get per hour by a good bit, typically 5 to 15k XP per hour increase. However, you won't get the same amount of rewards by any means. You'll get a lot less, like we talked about earlier. So really, it just depends on what you're here for. If you already have some of the untradables and you really don't care too much about the pet and you just like this mini game, you like the XP it gives you, then this might be worth it for you. Again, like last time, fish a good bit of your inventory and always keep an eye out for the leaping harpoon fish spot. And just like so, we are at the ready and going to head up very soon now. As you can tell, the energy is still at 100, so we're going to be one of the first people up there, which makes sense. And we're going to go ahead and start filling unless there is a wave approaching, in which case then you're going to want to tether to the mast up here. Then just go ahead and start firing away your raw harpoon fish. Again, the reason why you're going to do this, really good XP. I mean, as you can tell here, the 100 XP drops are just rolling on in, and you can get a lot more of this than you can if you're cooking, of course. And with cooking, you really don't get too much XP, so it really doesn't help too much in terms of your account if you are cooking. Of course, always paying attention to any storm clouds that may head on in. You probably don't want to chance them. They do take a little bit to fall down, but you know, it's not worth it. I guess I'll walk into one right now just to demonstrate what happens, just for the people here. Oh, never mind, I lied. Take my word for it though, whenever you're inside of it, it will eliminate a lot of the fish that you have in your inventory, and it also will take away one of your tools at random. And if you just stay standing in it, it will take more and more away from you. But we are down here for our second inventory. Again, just looking out for the leaping harpoon fish location like so. Go ahead and fish as much as you can while you're waiting. With the no cooking method, you're going to want to make sure you're keeping a keen eye on the energy depletion. So right now we are about to hit 0. I'm gonna run on over while that is happening, and you should arrive here in time. And then go ahead and harpoon from the spirit pool like you would prior. And then if you have enough fish to warrant it, you can start off the second run by just running on up here and depositing all the fish that you have remaining in your inventory. Sometimes after a storm, you might have to repair a damaged mast or a post down here. Just go ahead and click on it, repair, and your character will do the rest. Also, you can fill up your buckets with water at the water pump on the dock, or up top, there's also a spot up on the boat right there. A couple different options for you if you'd like. Again, keeping a close eye to the amount of energy depleted from Tempoross. Once it's close, then go ahead and head on up. Sometimes the cannons will be damaged. In that scenario, you can either wait for your cannon to come back online, or you can hop on over to the other one. It really doesn't matter too much which one you choose, spoiler. And once the energy is back down to 0, head back down. So this is going to be the downside of the just fishing, no cooking method, and that's going to be that I only get 2 reward permits this time, and if you're not as good as I was there, then maybe you even only get 1 reward point. Not too great, but in terms of the XP per hour, you're getting definitely much better. Then from there, to be able to gain your rewards, just go ahead and walk on over to the Spirit Angler, talk to him, or I guess better yet, take net, skip on through the dialogue, and he will hand you a net. Then go ahead and net from the reward pool right here. You can also check and see however many points you have available. And just like so, you'll get a bunch of different loots. Nothing too crazy here. A lot of steel nails for some reason, some planks, some raw sea turtles, and spirit flakes. It's kind of a hodgepodge of a reward drop table. There is a fire over here that you can use, and there is also Gita Primes, who you can then speak to be able to make yourself a spirit angler outfit. We talk about outfits, and if you have the amount of spirit flakes required, as I mentioned earlier, it's 1,200 for the total setup, which would mean 300 a piece. Spirit anglers, kinda nice. It looks cooler, I will say that. Like, that's an example. I think it looks much better, and the utility of having a rope attached to it, yeah, I mean, it's something. Is it everything though? Probably not. That is going to be it for the Tempoross guide today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like. If you want to see more videos like this as soon as they go live, make sure to subscribe. And I also have plenty of places you can check myself, my community out down below in the description, and I would appreciate that as well. But with that said, hopefully you guys have a wonderful day, and peace.